Thanks for staying with us. So we like Thursdays because that's where we get to gist and talk about life issues. So today, we're talking about levels. Levels have changed in marriage. So when you marry me and, both of us are eating a part together, and then I get educated and I move on, and, but let me tell you the story that we're using as a reference today. So a lady had been in a relationship with a mechanic, according to her, with whom she has a son. And this mechanic, through his work, his hard work, paid for her university fees. Currently, she's now an accountant. Now, she met a lawyer recently who she feels compatible. They're both educated, they're on the same level. And she insists she's still in love with the mechanic, truthfully. But the real question is, I love you, but you cannot provide my needs at this time. I've moved to a different level. Now I'm an accountant. I met a lawyer who I don't love as much as I do, as much as I do you. But he is at that level. Both of us can make it happen because we are growing in the same path. So the question, therefore, is love versus security, I would say. So if you love somebody, should love counter or conquer your sense of security? So this woman, that's the question I'd like to share with our viewers. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also send us messages on YouTube, and Facebook will be happy to read your messages. So if I love the mechanic, and when I say love, I mean head over heels, you really love the person, and this is the person that gives you the butterflies, and you like it when he's dirty and, the mechanic thingy all over him. I'm just trying to make it graphic. But you're now an accountant, you're educated, you're working with educated. It happens a lot where our mothers back then struggled with our fathers, right? Mm-hmm. They were there, and the mothers chose not to go to school so they can take care of the home front. The man gets educated, gets in the office, meets a secretary who is at the same level, and one thing leads to another, there's wife too. So this is an old gist forever. But in modern times, how do we play it out? How does it play out? Mariam, want to go?
Okay, so her story is a mechanic is not necessarily uneducated, since we're talking of modern times, or we don't know if she's leaving the mechanic only because he's a mechanic, or is he uneducated, he doesn't have enough money to take care of her needs. Because I've seen mechanics who are educated, who own mechanic shops and have mechanics working under them, and they're just able to provide needs. So maybe if she's talking about maybe he's uneducated and there's this man who is more at par with her, so they meet at the office and they talk. As you said, this is such an old... Yes, but we normally hear it when men have to make that choice of, okay, I've been with this woman all my life. She had to make sacrifices for where I am today, but she's just not I always use the example of military officers then when they become governors. They leave their barrack wife and go and look for the one that is governor's wife compliant, So in her own case, I always feel that it's unfair to give up on someone who was there with you from the beginning if you have not done all that you need to do to make sure that person comes up with you. So all the time that he was putting money towards your education and everything, and now you find yourself in a comfortable place. This is a couple that they have a child together. What has she done for him to get to where she is? Has she tried and he refused? Did she say, okay, we're going to do evening classes with you. You paid for this, so I want you to be able to come out with me when I go for my office parties and things like that, and hold yourself confidently and speak confidently. Because being a mechanic is not a bad thing. It does not even mean, for me, I don't see there's dignity in labor as long as he's doing something good. And if he gets education, he can only represent his profession professionally.
So now, my question,
really nothing for her to worry about, except if she has fallen out of love with him, then that's a conversation.
Now, so that's something I'd like us to dwell on a bit, because we are experiencing this marriage a bit. You are experienced, we are all experienced. And with experience in a marriage, is love really the principal thing? Because we make it look as if, oh, I love him. But the truth is, when you now enter the marriage, you realize that love is just like the 0.02% starting point. It's a nice starting point, but there are other parts, there are other important layers that a man must have. So if this young woman is saying, I love him, but as experienced women in this industry, is that enough? Should you say security is more important? As long as this guy doesn't, he's not your enemy, he's not beating you, but he's well educated, both of you can make it work, it's probably more beneficial to you than just loving him.
Well, like you said, love must start the relationship. But I think what goes a long way is respect. If you respect your spouse, your partner, that this one that is saying she still loves him, she doesn't love him.
Yeah.
She used him, as far as I'm concerned, she used him to reach where she has, and he has done his own duty where she is concerned. And she wants to move on. I'm sorry for the guy, but she's going to move on. But she feels that she does not respect him. So I don't really have much to say
concerning that.
Concerning it. What I would advise couples is when you're entering a relationship, make sure you respect whoever is, because
regardless of their
the chips are down, you will still, because you have respect, because a marriage or a relationship it's not good. It's not going to be high all the time. They're going to be up.
So can we therefore
down.
strip a man of, okay, let us remove the mechanic, the lawyer, all the roles they are, and look at them as a man and say, okay, do I respect this individual outside his profession, what he does? If I respect him, that should be enough for you to get into that marriage. Is that what you're saying, YK?
I'm saying it is a very important part of, you will first love him. But if you don't respect him, nothing. What are you going to... Your husband will respect you, respect your mind, respect everything about you, not just, oh, the love, oh, she's beautiful. Because what if the beauty goes?
You know what I even find hard? When people say, oh, I love him, but we're not compatible, I love him. I always find that hard because for me to get to the point where I love you, first we're compatible, first we're on the same level, we're thinking alike.
Love grows.
Yes, it has always been like that for me. I've never had to be, I don't know how people just see love before they
love
get
at first sight now.
That has never, I don't know, it has never happened to me. So I don't know how you would love someone and then everything that's part of making that relationship work was not put into consideration. It doesn't make sense to me. So I have to learn from that. So that's why when some people say, oh, I met her walking down the street and then I saw her and I fell in love, I've never been that sort of person. I get to know the person. We get to be friends. And then so that love was...
There's someone that I know that walked down the street and said, you're my wife, and they're married.
So for her to say she still loves him, but she prefers this lawyer, I agree with you. I don't think she loves him anymore. But that's why when people say, oh, you can marry for money or you can marry for this, I wonder how they do it. When the money, yes, will be there to buy the things, but when you sit down to have a conversation with this person, when you have your life's goals and ambition and, that you're trying to pursue, and it's not in line with what you want for yourself, how do you even have a relationship that's
looking at it in the worst case scenario. There's some scenarios that I've seen. The love wasn't there. They have arranged marriages. The love was never there. The man provides for you, and gradually you become friends. He's respectful of you, and you're respectful of him, and gradually over the years you begin to connect. So you're not head over heels.
So you're respectful of what he provides for you.
Absolutely.
So once that provision leaves,
and you're also providing something for him. Maybe you're young, you're fresh, you're beautiful, and so both of you have you have a stake. There's something you're bringing in, there's something he's bringing in. You come together as an agreement. The love factor can be built over time. That's what I'm saying. That there's some marriages that love is not critical. So this lawyer person can actually bring in the security she wants. She's the young woman, whatever. They can come together and start, and love can grow over time.
We're just assuming that this lawyer has more money than the mechanic. We have a lot of people who dress in tie and suit and do not have enough money as those that are carrying and pushing things, And that's one of the things also we need to talk about when we are talking about dignity of labor, that someone's job is not glamorous. Does not necessarily mean that he cannot pay for their lifestyle and pay for,
Maybe he's a lawyer. He might have more money than the mechanic. The mechanic's money comes in bit by bit.
Yeah.
Lawyers.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue to take some calls and then move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Yeah, Twitter is back. We forgot. Yeah, we should be telling you guys to tweet. Twitter. Oh, yeah, please. Let's get Twitter back. Right.
Let me stay with you.
All right, so back to this our topic because so back to this our topic because the issue is aside from the profession, I want us to move away from the issue of the profession, mechanic or lawyer. That's not even our focus. Our focus is losing respect for a man. So you met a guy, you fell in love with the guy, regardless of his role. And there's somewhere within that love, then it begins to diminish because you're losing respect for him. What does a man do? Or what makes a woman lose respect for her spouse? Because as you said, respect for a man is love. And that's crucial for every man, that don't just respect me. I don't need the flowers, I don't need the chocolate, I don't need the gifts. I just need you to respect me. That's love. So what is that thing that makes a woman lose respect for a man?
For me, whether if my man has money or not, if he's a hard worker, he doesn't have to have money. If he's a hard worker,
like a conqueror, like a bricklayer that is really working hard.
If I fell in love with a bricklayer, I would stay with a bricklayer.
Yeah.
That's who I fell in love with. But a lazy man, who he wakes up in the morning, it's all the gossip magazines of Nigeria that you read. I will be working. No. You see that man? I can't respect him. I will just, I catch him, he's always gossiping with women. You know, women, we are gossips.
Except me.
That men
Let me take Yakub's call. Good morning, Yakub. Are you there? Hello, Yakub. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Miriam, and then Sister Yeni. Good morning.
Good morning.
I like this topic. First and foremost, the question is that what was initial agreement between the mechanic and the woman in question? When the man started sending her to university and all that, now that he has acquired the knowledge, and then he now saw herself not matched with the mechanic, quote and unquote. And then, does it mean that she was preferring that maybe the mechanic is not an educated person, or the mechanic cannot be able to cater for his need or something? I don't know. If it is by education, I don't think the mechanic is an illiterate person. Because it is an illiterate person, because the mechanic has a knowledge to make a car work if your car does not move. Because a lawyer cannot make the car work, because everybody has a knowledge based on what you know. That is number one. Let me use my brother as a case study, as an example here. I have an elder brother. He is a mechanic. Morayo, as today, this morning, if my brother speaks somewhere with the mechanic that is doing, a lot of resources he has in his disposal, some of the lawyers cannot board with him. I can tell you that. Because he is a mechanic, and then he used his knowledge very well. Even I have another brother that went to University of Uyo, and then he's studying engineering, and then they want to employ him at Dangote. Do you know what he did? When they interview him, he was not able to meet up interview, and then he come back to my brother that is a local mechanic to come and study for 6 months before he.
So what Yakubu has told us, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes.
So this woman obviously has judged the mechanic, because the mechanic, he's a no good, he can't move us forward. But you're only limited by what you see today.
And I think you're just being clever. I don't think it's because he's a mechanic or the other person is a lawyer. It could have been much more. It has to be much more than that, because just because someone wears a mechanic uniform and another person wears a suit and tie should not be enough, to make a difference in how much you love the person. Yes, do you find this person attractive? Do you admire this person? That's the difference. But Waiki said something that is so important about how a spouse can lose respect, how spouses can lose respect for each other. And for me, I think the hardest person to respect is a husband that is lazy, a husband that would not get up and do anything. And I'm not talking of a poor husband, not that he does not have money. I'm talking of a man that you would see would get up in the morning and want to do his best for his family. We hear of some women who would say their husbands don't get up and do anything. And I'm sure even husbands lose respect for women who don't get up to do anything. Like, they leave you on the couch in the morning, they come back in the evening, you're still on the couch. It makes the person question, and then the person now goes to the office and sees the secretary that has been there since 6 a.m., looking smart, and goes back home, and madam is still watching TV on the couch. That can, that can make you
and
lose
also,
respect for the
even
person.
rich kids, your father has made all the money. You're not working. So you meet a girl, and you have a nice car, you have a nice flat, you have a help, you have this. You're doing absolutely nothing. So that in itself, your girlfriend, even though she's happy that you have some money to spend, she'll still lose respect for you because you're not productive. You're not doing anything. So I think productivity gives the man that sense of, should give a man the sense of confidence. And if you're not doing something, no matter how small it is, you should do something. I think that's what this conversation is leading us to.
And if you remember, there used to be a time when they would say when men lose their jobs, they wouldn't say anything to the wives. They'll get up in the morning, dress up, and go out and pretend that they're going to work and come back. That it's better for her to think that he's getting up to do something than to sit at home. Although now they'll tell modern guys don't send you. They'll be doing this Instagram with you back to back.
Yeah, don't you hate this? Go ahead, Waiki.
No, I was just going to say, you know, like this woman, this particular woman, she has used the man. The man is a productive man. He's going out. He's going to, he's repairing cars, he works. Let's not look at his job. If he's a carpenter, he's a plumber, some of them do very well. Some, you know, and at least they're hardworking. So it's not, she feels that he's not in her own class anymore, you know, her own educational.
Day for this,
that kind of thing.
But that you already said it.
So she's Oju Orolari, an Oju Orolari person. He should forget about her move, and then the next person that he educates, he should think about it twice before he educates another one that will do the same thing to him. But an unproductive man is a man that I personally
can't stand.
I think we've all agreed on that this morning. Men should be productive.
So
a gossip. A man that sits down and gists with girls.
Even men.
I don't be gossip.
No, men gist. See that baby, they gist. When I will gist, I'll tell you that, do you know that Kiniko is a homosexual? Yeah, we look at the man like this.
You don't have what to do. Let me take a view.
Our first tweet. I don't know if I've missed Twitter. I don't know if I've missed Twitter because, you know, they can be quite vicious. But here it is. That Val boy says, are you people partial because you're all female? Because this mechanic actually sent her to school to become that accountant. Like, they must have agreed to get married before he sent her to school. That gender is bad, though. So Twitter is back.
All right. Let me take Chesson. Are you there, Chesson?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning.
Please, I have two things to say. Number one, can you do me a favor? Invite Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu for your program one day. Let him just come and say hi to us. I happen to be one of his die-hard fans. And then showing interest in showing his ambition in presidential ticket. I'm so happy about that. That's number one.
Thank you.
Number two, about the guy in question. I would have just said the guy should move on. It happens. Some ladies too, they send some guys to school, and at the end of the day, after the guy graduates, the guy will say they are not in the same shoe again. It happens vice versa. You understand? Life goes on. Let the mechanic move on with his life, and then let the lady to move on with her life.
Thank you very much, sir. I think we can end on this. Let's take a few messages before we run off. Yes.
Yeah. This one is to Murayo. Adekpoju says, Murayo, no lady will disrespect Dangote's son that is not productive, as long as his father's money is still there. September Projection says, this topic is vice versa. If we see some men too that leave their women that have labored with them, at the end of the day, they pick someone they just met. The cocoa is peace of mind in marriage.
Exactly. All right, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, move on to our other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.